I like hockey.
I like hockey. I love hockey.
I like hockey. Welcome to
We
another
love hockey.
episode of Wrinkles in the Crease, where we not only take a look at the stories in hockey and iron out the details, but we also like hockey. I am your host,
We
Zachary
like
Morgan. I have
hockey.
with me, as always, my co-host, Trevor Neal, the less than real deal. Trevor, what is going on?
Doing great. The hangover's gone. I'm sober.
You said the hangover was gone
Recovered.
last time.
But here's the thing is... Actually, no, I haven't gotten intoxicated since.
Excellent.
On alcohol.
On alcohol. Yeah. But have you gotten intoxicated on trades? Because it's trade season, baby.
Oh my god, I'm just like ripping lines of trades right now.
Okay, that's enough out of you.
That's
enough out of you. Okay. So, he is almost correct in the sense that there have been a lot of trades that you can go over and potentially binge on, but yeah. He took himself out of timeout. Okay. So, where does this begin? I guess the first move that kind of kicked it all off was Ryan Johansson with 50% retained going over to Colorado for the rights to Alex Galchenyuk. And were there other pieces to that, or just Galchenyuk?
Nope. That was it.
Okay.
It was a... And it's not Galchenyuk. That's a very key... Like, I think people are forgetting to really bring that up. It's the rights to Alex Galchenyuk, who is now his 8th team in 8 seasons.
He was taken 3rd overall in 2012?
Mm-hmm.
Montreal does a great job drafting. Anyway,
no, it's not just Montreal. No, don't blame Montreal for this. It's the multitude of teams who've tried. And he's been good with some teams. Like, he's never been a bad player. It's just this guy's got to be an asshole or something. Like,
no, I just never think he was really good enough to live up to that number 3 overall billing. That 2012 draft had some interesting choices in the top 5.
That was Yakupov, correct?
Yeah, that was Yakupov.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Murray, then guy that we're talking about right now, Galchenyuk. I don't even remember who was immediately after that, honestly. Number 4.
Pull that up. Fun trivia, the 2012 draft. You want to go down the list?
Tell me the team, and I'll tell you the name.
What if it's too easy? So you got the first 3 correct. 4 was the New York Islanders.
Oh, that was Ryan Strome.
Nope. 37 games played, 2 assists. Defenseman, Edmonton Oil Kings.
Oh, Griffin Reinhart.
Yep. Who was 5? Probably easily the best player of the top 5. Toronto.
Team? Toronto? Oh, that was Morgan Riley. Easy.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. But you can make the case that he probably could have gone first. Okay, you go down. You get Philip Forsberg down at 11. Tom Wilson at 16. Jacob Trouba at 9.
Is there really no one notable between Morgan Riley and Tom Wilson at 11?
Oh, Tom Wilson was 16. 11 was Philip
I'm
Forsberg.
Sorry. Still,
Cody
really?
Ceci went 15.
Oh, God.
Andrei Vasilevsky at 19.
Okay, well, yeah.
Tomas Hertl at 17. Teuvo Teravainen at 18.
Hertl at 17.
Oh, Matt Dumba at 7.
Matt Dumba. Okay. Some solid picks in there, but not.
But Ryan Johansson, a boat anchor of a contract, did not realize how much money he was making with how little production he was giving. Was making $8 million.
Oh, God.
Colorado pretty easily fixes their second line set. I like Johansson at $4 million.
Oh, yeah, $4 million. That's great.
I'd say on a good team, Colorado's got real. They fixed the Nazem Kadri problem.
Exactly. They finally got a replacement for Nazem Kadri, and that may help them because, quite frankly, without Nazem, they were awful in the playoffs. Well, not awful, but they didn't have what it took.
There's a reason they also had everyone hurt. Yeah. Those playoffs are a grain of salt. Everyone was hurt.
Yeah, and now
everyone was hurt.
Everyone was hurt, and there's a real chance that Gabriel Landeskog won't be back until what? Not even next year, the year after?
No, he's not going to play next year. There's a chance we don't see Gabriel Landeskog again. Small chance. I still think he comes back, but we're not going to get Gabriel Landeskog again.
Definitely not next year. But I hope that
they've already said he's not playing next year.
I hope we see him again in an Avalanche uniform. It would be weird to see him play somewhere else. That's a guy where it would be weird to see him somewhere else.
Because he's the captain, correct?
He is the
He's the
captain.
captain there.
He's
Yeah,
been the
he's
captain
had a
since
say.
2012. His fate would
Oh
have it.
God, he was through the really bad Avalanche then.
He
The
was,
historically bad Avalanche teams.
yeah, he was taken the second overall pick in 2011, and then right after his rookie year, they made him captain, and I think he's within the top 5 youngest captains in NHL history. I don't think he's the
Easily.
youngest because I think
No, it's McDavid and Crosby.
no, there's a guy who was younger as an interim, but in terms of full term captain, yes, Crosby and McDavid were the youngest. But the actual
Yeah.
youngest captain was for an interim, and I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was for either the Islanders or the North Stars, and my first answer is Brian Bellows, but I could be wrong on that.
See, I'm seeing Crosby. I'm not seeing anything about anyone younger. Oh, I'm saying McDavid. Sorry, McDavid, then Landeskog, then Justin Falk,
Justin
Tavares,
Falk.
Yossi. Yeah, that doesn't include. Yeah,
Yeah,
Landeskog
Brian
getting the
Bellows was the
captain.
youngest serving captain in NHL history, serving as interim captain of the Minnesota North Stars from January to May of 1984 during
How
Craig
old was he?
Hartsburg's
18?
absence. He was, yeah,
Had
here,
to have been 18.
yeah, NHL captain. Yeah, he was, what is it? 19 years, 131 days.
See,
So McDavid is the youngest full-term captain, permanent captain. Where I'm
yeah.
talking youngest serving. So he was just an interim
Yeah.
captain. He wasn't
And
full-time.
here's the thing, I'm 21 and I don't think I'm nearly mature enough to captain an NHL team. So bravo to those guys, because
Bravo.
that's a rough gig, man. As a 19-year-old to be captain of an NHL team is unfathomable.
Speaking of guys who probably aren't captain material, allegedly, no offense, let's call it what it is. Pierre-Luc Dubois, after requesting yet another trade, was moved. But
To the
everyone
Montreal
thought,
Canadiens? To the
no,
Canadiens?
no,
Oh, whoa.
that's where everyone would have guessed. But no, the Los Angeles Kings decided to take a swing at Pierre-Luc Dubois for Gabe Vilardi, Alex Iafallo, Rasmus Kupari, a 2024 second-round pick, and they signed Pierre-Luc Dubois to an 8 by $8.5 million deal. So 8 years,
That's too
$68
much
million.
money. Okay, so let's dial it back. So last week he's unwilling to play for a single NHL team other than the Montreal Canadiens.
Was
A
that
week
true,
later,
or was that just a rumor?
No, I feel like he was at one point. I'm only
so allegedly he only wanted to play for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yes, and then all of a sudden LA is like, "Yep, $8.5 million as long as we can give him." I mean, I like him as a King. I think he's going to be a big part of what their identity. But that is a lot.
That is a steep price to pay, but it takes a ton of pressure off Quinton Byfield because now you have a guy who's going to take the number one center role, and you can let Quinton Byfield develop into that top line role behind him. And quite frankly, now all you need from Byfield is to be a second line center, and he can do that.
And I think Byfield's style of play translates better to a second line center than a first line center.
Right now,
that kind
yes.
Of power forward style.
Right now, yes, but it's going to come to a point in time where Quinton Byfield will overtake Pierre-Luc Dubois as the number one center of this team.
Hopefully.
It's going to be...
Screw it up.
If they don't screw it up, but 4 years down the line, we should be seeing Quinton Byfield take the reins as the true number one forward for the team.
Halfway through that PLD contract. Is that going to be a boat anchor by the end of it?
No.
Or is the cap going to be up enough? It's not going to matter too much. That just feels so steep for a guy who's obviously had some coachability problems the right way to put it together. Because I'm sorry, every GM in the league should look at the last shift as a Blue Jacket and go, that cannot happen ever again. I understand it's unique circumstances, but you're getting paid to play hockey, and you just didn't. To me, that's a red flag.
It's a red flag for sure.
That has a sour taste in my mouth.
I don't disagree. It leaves a sour taste in your mouth because it shows that the guy's only going to be invested for as long as he wants to be there, and the second he doesn't want to be there, he's not going to give you nearly the effort that he should. Forget the fact that he's in. Forget all of it, right? He's not even going to give you 40% of his effort. But
No,
there
he's
comes a
just gonna
time.
stop playing at a certain point.
Agreed. But
Like,
there
is there
comes
anything saying 12 months from now, PLD decides, I still want to be a Montreal Canadian and checks out?
no. There's
Like,
nothing. There's
that's
no
got you don't
guarantee
think they do
against
that?
that. And I'm pretty sure this is had the his deal has a no movement clause in it. No.
Oh, God. Probably. I think it's
So
probably hard to get an 8 year at that much without getting that no move.
we'll see. And the other thing is, 8.5 million right now. Yes, that is a considerable amount of money. But you have to remember this. There are like 30 guys now making around 8 million or more. Around $8-9 million. There are like 30 guys in the league making around that money. The fact of the matter is, we're coming to a point where the cap is going up enough, which is a good thing. This is what we want in the sport. But $8 million, $8.5 million, those contracts are going to become the 6 million, $6.5 million, $7 million contracts that we've seen over the past few
Yeah.
years. They're not. I want to be careful about how I say this because my team is very much basing this on they've done a great job at structuring this well, and it is what it is. Jack Hughes is on the best deal in hockey right now, without a doubt in my mind. 8 years by 8 million is absurd, but
Yeah.
$8 million is going to be much much cheaper, especially if the cap is slated goes up the amount it's slated to go up next year. eight
I've
million
heard it
dollars won't
has
mean
to.
as much.
I've heard like it economically has to go up. Like everyone's under agreement that it's going up 5 million.
You
But I
know
also
what?
don't trust Gary Bettman because for
I
some
don't
reason
trust
he loves
anyone.
that
I
cap
don't trust
low.
anyone saying that for a second. Yes, economically, it has to go up. It has to go up at least a couple $1 million. But I also can't be surprised if everyone's saying, "Oh, it's going to go up $4 or $5 million." I won't be surprised if they turn around and say, "Hey, it's only going up 1.5 million," because that's what they've done in the past. Granted, you couldn't
Last
account
four
for
or five
COVID.
years. COVID set the NHL back, but the thing
COVID
is,
set the COVID set everything back. It is what it is.
there's apparently like the debts that we've already made the money back from COVID. There's some people who truly believe that, and the NHL is ready to start growing again. And for some reason, Gary Bettman is kicking and screaming that it can't. Like it needs to be the way it is. I'm sorry, Gary Bettman cannot be the commissioner for much longer. Like he's on his last deal. I can't believe he just got extended, but his inability. I know this is off topic of what we're talking about, but the cap needs to go up to make these $8.5 million deals of players who definitely earned it. Not like I shouldn't look at PLD getting an 8 year, $8.5 million contract and go, oh no, how's that going to affect the Kings 4 or 5 years from now? It shouldn't be like that.
It
That's
shouldn't,
not.
but it is. And until
Here we are.
you, progress is made in baby steps. Progress is made
Yeah.
in baby steps. So while yes, you can sit here and say, this is ridiculous. These guys should have been able to making about this much money since before everything happened with the pandemic, before the pandemic set everything back.
Yeah.
These guys should have been making that much money. There's a real argument to be made there, but it just hasn't been the case. So
Mm-hmm.
now
I
we're
guess I
finally.
got PTSD from teams building their team in a way that the cap's going to go up. We're relying on the cap going up because that has burned some teams that I cheer for of that kind of wishful, well, the cap's got to go up. So it'll be all okay once the cap goes up. That something in my head goes, nope, it's never going to. And I hope it does just for the sake of the
The
Kings. Like, I
mistake
don't want
that
this
team that
contract
you're
to be bad.
referring to made is that they only signed bridge deals. Anyway, we move forward. The deals got
Weird.
weirder as the day went on, because I'm pretty sure after that was when Taylor Hall and the rights to Nick Foligno. Taylor Hall, the greatest third line left winger in the history of the NHL. I'm kidding, probably. That's
No,
probably not
no.
true.
Phil Kessel. Like 2016 Phil Kessel.
Taylor Hall, a third line left winger in the NHL. Sure, let's go with that. Who is
Mm-hmm.
definitely, not Phil
Should
Kessel.
not be a third liner. Should not be a third
Probably
liner.
should not be a third liner. He gets to play with another number one overall pick, as he is sent to Chicago along with the rights to Nick Foligno from Boston for, what was this? A bag of peanuts.
Nothing.
Ian Mitchell, Alec Arugula, um,
Alec Arugula. Yep.
yeah, Alec
Uh,
Regula. I'm not Alec Regula, but Arugula is fine.
Why are we helping Chicago? Stop doing that. Also, why are we helping Boston? Why did this trade happen? Why does Chicago want Taylor Hall? Tell me, why do they want Taylor Hall? Why are they trying to be good?
Because they saw what Taylor Hall did with number 1 overall draft picks like Nico Hischier and Jack
congratulations.
Hughes and Connor
Congratulations,
McDavid
Chicago. You now have 3 people on your roster. Good for you.
And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Nail Yakupov.
Oh, yeah, because this worked out great for all the first overall picks.
It worked out great for like 60% of the, at least 60% of the, 60 to 80% of the guys I mentioned.
No, but why are they trying to be good? You have people that can mentor. Jonathan Toews, is he, just leave him in the front office and he's your guy to teach Bedard.
What are you talking about? Jonathan Toews is going to contribute solid hockey to the Winnipeg Jets.
When's the first? Is the first? Okay, 2 days from now. Saturday, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be looking real stupid come Saturday.
I'm pretty sure the Blackhawks also signed Nick Foligno.
To $1 million, or 1 year, $4 million.
1 year, $4 million. So
yep.
They get a veteran presence for their team where they're trying to develop this guy and compete immediately.
Nick, do you not want to win? Is that what you're saying, Nick? You don't.
No, they want to win, and they think they can win with Connor Bedard. That's what they're saying. They think Connor Bedard...
Is that what Chicago's doing? Is they really think, all right, this is how franchises are ruined. This is... You know what Taylor Hall should go and say, whoever the GM... I'm blanking on his name. The GM of Chicago Blackhawks. He should walk into Kyle Davidson's office and went, this is the exact mistake the Edmonton Oilers made. Getting a first overall pick and going, all right, cup contenders. This is not how it works.
Okay, that's not... You can't... No. You can't do that.
No, you can't. You can't get Connor Bedard and just immediately go, all right, it's better. You had no NHL players last year. No one wants to play for you. You can't go, all right, we got Connor Bedard, Taylor Hall, and Nick Foligno. We're going to win the cup. This is why the Oilers suck.
But they didn't.
They made the same mistakes.
They didn't just get Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno, though.
Oh, and they got Connor Bedard. That's 3 players.
No. They got Corey Perry for a 7th-round pick in 2024.
Oh my God! Okay, so we've got a first line of Bedard, Hall, Foligno, and Corey Perry's going to be what, your second line center?
Sure.
Is that the Blackhawks?
Corey Perry doesn't play center. What are you saying? Put him on the wing.
Who's going to be the center, Zach?
You're asking me too many questions about the Blackhawks roster.
We cover hockey
I don't
as a
appreciate
job,
this.
I couldn't tell you more players.
I thought we were cool. Why are you doing this?
Are you just going, damn, I hope Max Domi signs again. I hope he comes back. I sure hope we could convince him to come back to Chicago, Illinois, because the weather's so great here. Such a good place to live. This trade pisses me off to no end. I swear to God, because it's everything I hate about the pretentiousness of the Chicago Blackhawks makes me want to slap someone. You suck. It is your job to suck. Put in freaking David Ayers into net for all season. I don't care. Go 0-82. It's not your job to win yet. Because you can't 4 or 5 years from now go, okay, Connor Bedard, you're the only guy who could put the puck in the net. Good luck, and hope you make the playoffs. Because guess what? It doesn't work for Edmonton. It doesn't work. That isn't sustainable.
Why are you trying to help the Blackhawks right now?
I'm not. That's a good point. You know what, Chicago? Keep doing what you're doing.
Like, what are you doing? I thought you just you started this by saying too many teams help the Chicago Blackhawks, and here you are trying to help the Chicago Blackhawks from saving themselves. No, this sounds fine. Go ahead, do you, honey?
Let the franchise burn.
Seth Jones is still there, right?
Oh my God, both the Jones brothers are.
Yeah, perfect. Those are guys that probably want to play there. Seth Jones should want to play there because I have no idea where the hell he's going to get that $9 million.
Nowhere.
Yeah, because that was a bad deal.
You know what I don't want to see? Do you know what I don't want to see? I don't want to be 6 years from now going, damn, Connor Bedard's wasted. Because you could make the argument Connor McDavid's career has been wasted so far.
Yes, you
completely and totally wasted.
100%. And you can also make the argument.
I don't want to see that happen again.
You can also make the argument that this is kind of, Chicago's going to do what they think makes the most sense. Connor Bedard, for all intents and purposes, he's not quite like many of the quote-unquote generational talents that we've seen. He's not like Alexis Lafreniere. He's not like Jack Hughes. He's not like Owen Power in the sense where this is a kid who's expected to come in and immediately become a 30 to 35 goal scorer.
Are you saying he is? Do you think he scores 35? I think he does.
I think he scores 35. I'm curious to see other aspects of his game, but I do think that he's going to be someone who puts up points immediately. I think we're going to see at least I think we see at least easily 65, 70 points from him. I don't think that's crazy.
The thing with Connor, and I know this is kind of like off schedule before I went on at the episode, but the thing with Connor is I think they have to be very careful with how they play him defensively because size is going to become an issue, and he is very young for his draft class, correct?
They're all young.
He's only 17.
These are all children that are coming in to play
for
a
the
men's
rest of the
league.
draft. He's not 18 yet.
Is he?
I believe he doesn't turn 18 until August. So he is much younger than the rest of his competition.
He will turn even for people in his draft class. In a little about 3 weeks, July 17th.
Okay. So, and he's small. He's a smaller player. Okay. He's built. He's got some muscle to him, but he is smaller.
5'10", 185 pounds.
Okay, but are you trusting? So are you going to put Connor Bedard on the first line of the Blackhawks next year?
No, you can't. You have to put him on the second line.
You can't? Second line?
No, you can't put...
Good. Because here's the thing. I am
Connor
terrified.
Bedard on the first line. You have to make him earn it. You can't... I'm sorry. There's no... Maybe, you know what? Zach. What am I saying? Maybe he's that special. Maybe he's that special where he starts opening night first line. Maybe. But I don't know of many rookies that should be there. I don't think Sidney Crosby was doing that.
No, Zach, he can't be. Night one, he cannot be on the first line. He cannot. It'll ruin him. Do you know who he's going up against?
Sidney
Crosby. You want him lining up for his first NHL faceoff against Sidney Crosby? Because hell no.
I'm sorry. Is he a center? Oh, he is.
Bedard, yeah.
I don't know why. I picture him as a winger. Yeah, but...
Yeah. I'm terrified of Chicago putting him on a line and having him go against the line of Matt Tkachuk and Sam Bennett. Because they will eat him alive. Like, yes, he has offensive prowess, but you can't be like, all right, now you got to play the defensive zone against some of the hardest checking forwards in the NHL. You got to protect them.
You've got to protect him, and that's where Corey Perry comes into play. Because the one thing...
Okay, that explains that move, man.
The one thing that happened with Jack Hughes during his rookie season is we can say all we want about Connor Bedard not being... Jack Hughes was a child. Jack Hughes was a child.
He was small.
Jack Hughes, Jack Hughes didn't really finish going through puberty until the end of the pandemic. Okay? Like that's
Jack Hughes is still going through puberty. Look at him.
Pretty much, yeah.
That is a child.
And that break was a blessing for him because he was getting bullied and destroyed his rookie season. He was not producing well his rookie year. I don't know if you remember that, but it was not.
There are some people labeled him bust.
Yes, very much
so. Ridiculous.
But he took the time. He was able to kind of regain his confidence, and he was a completely different player when the NHL came back into play. Completely different player.
Yeah,
to the effect where if he doesn't break his collarbone, he probably has his breakout season in 21-22, not 22-23.
Are you worried about them rushing Connor?
No.
You think they're going to be smart about it?
No. This is the Chicago Blackhawks. I know they're not going to be smart about this. Why? What have the Chicago Blackhawks done over the last 10 years that would give me any sort of faith in the organization at all? What?
Nothing. I want Connor Bedard to ask for a trade, man.
There's no way that happens, Connor.
If he does, what player is worth it to trade? Because if I'm like the Oilers and like let's theoretical universe, McDavid for Bedard, Edmonton says no. Toronto says no to Matthews.
The thing is with Bedard,
no,
nothing is guaranteed. Okay,
no.
Nothing is guaranteed right now. He is still He's a fantastic prospect. Until he takes the ice, until we see results, nothing is guaranteed. And
I forget who said this after the draft. All he's at the starting line right now. That's all that's what he's at right now. He's at the starting line.
He's at the starting
Nothing he's done before now matters.
And this can go either way. Do you remember the last guy that was drafted first overall at the forward spot that everyone said was going to be a generational talent?
Alexis Lafreniere.
Alexis Lafreniere. So, are we
And
going
he's
to
not good.
be are we going to be in a spot 3 years from now where we're looking at Connor Bedard as a potential, trade due to cap restraints as a first overall pick? Because that's what we're talking about with Lafreniere. So, even though Connor Bedard seems like a much, much better prospect than Alexis Lafreniere ever was, it's
Which he
still
is. He is.
he is, but
He
it's
is.
still we still need to see the proof in the pudding. We need to see the results before we can safely say, okay, Connor
He
Bedard has
played in the
arrived.
WHL, which is still only the number 2 of the 3.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
quite frankly, if you're putting a gun to my head right now and telling me to come up with a potential trade partner for Connor Bedard, realistically, there's the
Anaheim or
only
Columbus, who can throw in Carlson or Fantilli plus,
but
because there's a big drop off between 1 and 2.
Anaheim does not have the plus plus plus. Let's be real.
It would have to
And
be like McTavish, Zegras, and Carlson. But I don't even think that gets it done.
that's not enough. That's not enough for what those guys. It's not enough for Bedard. It honestly, somehow, I feel like you get further with a package consisting of Fantilli, Kent Johnson, and I'm drawing a blank,
Guy.
and future first round picks. I got nothing.
And even then, Chicago
even then,
doesn't
it's
do
not
it.
a good deal. There's no good deal for that can be made
No,
for this
because
player.
if Chicago does this
Connor,
right, you have Connor McDavid. If they do this right, he has that ceiling.
yeah, that's the ceiling he has. The ceiling he has is to be one of the all-time greats that we're talking about for years and years to come. And just for context for how good this level of talent is, I was looking at it. If Connor McDavid retires today, he's a Hall of Famer. Like,
Easily.
no question. Like, first ballot, no question. There's not a doubt in anyone's mind.
Easily.
Connor McDavid was drafted 8 years ago.
God, it's been that long.
It's been that long.
You know what? It was cool. Zach, you're going to a Blackhawks game this year, right? You're making sure you're at that Blackhawks game this year.
Probably.
You want to see that. I know.
I want to see. I mean, yeah. Who doesn't want to see Connor Bedard?
I just want to see him play. Just want to see it live.
Look, am I going to see? There are games that I absolutely go into the season, and I'm looking forward to watching this particular player play. This past year,
Chicago's actually on that list this year.
Chicago is on that list. Chicago hasn't been on that list since before I got my season tickets.
We're talking 2015.
We're talking, yeah, 2015, 2016. This would have. We're talking 2016 because I went and we deliberately picked a Devils Blackhawks game to go see early in the season. In 2016, they had they had Patrick Kane, they had Jonathan Toews, of course, but they still had Artemi Panarin. And Artemi Panarin on the Blackhawks was a different animal, man.
So good.
He was a different animal. Like,
yeah,
we are unlucky for how little we saw Artemi Panarin in his prime, because he was in his prime when he came over and was on the Blackhawks for those 2 years, and maybe the first couple of years he was on Columbus before, honestly, he came over at the age of 26. He came over at the age of 26.
Is that old?
I think.
He's in his 30s now?
That would make sense, would it not?
Oh my god. He's fallen off, man.
Yes, he has. Yeah, he's 31 years old. He came over here at the ripe age 25. Yeah, no, he would have been 24 when he came over. 24 years old. So
shit, it's been a while.
It has.
Such a long time ago.
It was a very long time. He was also undrafted, which is a different issue.
Weird. The whole Panarin thing was weird. But the one trade that made you the happiest, Zach. You know what it is?
Well, just to round out with Chicago before we get into that trade,
go on.
Since we've been going on and on about Chicago, the other move they made was Josh Bailey and a second-round pick in 2026 were traded to Chicago, but Josh Bailey, as of this moment, is slated to be bought out. He has to clear waivers first, so we'll see tomorrow if he clears waivers, and then he's going to clear waivers at the amount of money he's making. So that should be an interesting addition to the free agency pool.
See, that's what Chicago should be doing. Take on bad contract, buy them out. You have the money, you have the actual cash. Chicago has cash. And take the asset. They got a second round pick. They paid for a second round pick. That's what they did here. Good for them.
How much is Josh Bailey actually making?
Too freaking much. It was a lot.
I feel like he wasn't a $4 million player. Excuse me.
It's more than that. I can tell you it's more than that.
Oh dear God, yeah, no, that's too much.
Let me guess, 7.5.
No,
Worse?
He was slated to make $5 million this year.
Okay, still bad,
but
still real bad.
For context, he was slated to make $5 million coming off a year where he had in 64 games 8 goals and 17 assists. That is what makes that bad.
Oh,
that's what makes that bad.
Oh, real bad.
Yeah, no, he had a pretty
That's
bad
a fourth-line player.
He had a pretty bad drop off this past year, yeah. So
yeah, damn. Mm-hmm. I hope he finds a new little home, though. I hope he finds, and that's also the Islanders are a hard system to score in, so maybe he finds a little sweetheart deal somewhere in which he can go have fun and score some goals.
We'll see. He's been a member of that Islanders team since 2008 when he was drafted in the first round. You can tell me it's the Islanders system all you want. At the end of the day, he just kind of is who he is.
He's also fallen off.
He's also fallen off. But he could
find a different situation that helps him.
I think he can. I think there's still some player left in there. I think he can find a place to contribute, at least as a third line center, at least. But going back, the trade that made me happiest, I don't know. Could it be the Tom Fitzgerald fleece job? He just keeps on going. He's having his off season. He's having his hot girl summer. And let me tell you right now,
Tom Fitzgerald's hot girl summer. We got front row seats, baby. I'm so excited.
So a few days after Tyler Toffoli requested a trade from the Calgary Flames, which the Tyler Toffoli and the Calgary Flames breakdown of that whole situation.
No, we should just sad. After this, we should just talk about Calgary. Calgary's having a week.
So
Calgary's having a bad
week. We'll dive in really quickly with So Tyler Toffoli is sent off to the New Jersey Devils for the negotiation rights to Yegor Sharangovich and a third-round pick in this past draft, the 80th overall, which they used to select Adar Sunyev. Sure. Yeah.
Sounds right.
Adar Sunyev, I had this up, but I didn't write down his position because I'm a bad person. I'm mildly positive is a winger. Yep. I'm looking right at it now. He plays left wing. Prospect from Russia. Big dude. Good amount of size. So we'll see.
He's an 80th overall pick.
He's an 80th overall pick.
He's an 80th overall pick.
He could be very good. He could turn out to be very good. He could also turn out to not be very good. Such is life with the draft.
And we never hear his name ever again.
The 20th overall pick could turn out to be very good. Could turn out to be nothing at all. That's just kind of what it is once you get past the top echelon of draft of a prospect.
But do you know what matters? Tyler Toffoli, Jesper Bratt, and Timo Meier are all playing at the Rock next year.
That's not it. You just listed half of the top 6 because you've got, as you mentioned, Tyler Toffoli, Jesper Bratt, Timo Meier. Rounding out that top 6, you've got Dawson Mercer, who's got 1 year left on his entry-level deal.
Ooh, pretty
Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier.
Who are both on deals that make other GMs cry a little bit.
Every Hischier, Bratt, Hughes, all on deals that would make other GMs cry. And also Meier, because Meier signed an 8-year extension with the Devils. I believe that broke yesterday before the draft. Meier signed an 8-year deal, getting $8.8 million per year. Meier allegedly took a discount to stay with the Devils because the Sharks were prepared to sign him to an extension worth $9.25 million per year.
Why is it every single time? Okay, this is not the first time that free agent has signed money, and it immediately came out that, oh yeah, San Jose was going to give them so much more money. Do you remember who else it was?
I should know this.
They were talking
It
about
couldn't
giving
have been
12 to
Marlowe.
$13 million to John Tavares.
Yes, I
That
do
was a
remember
thing
that.
they wanted
I
to
do
do.
remember that. That was a thing they really wanted to do. For a while, they were looking to pay a player like a ridiculous amount of money. And they
Yes.
eventually paid Eric Carlson a ridiculous amount of money, and
I
now
need
they
to
want to
fly
trade
out
him
to
and they
San
don't
Jose
want to
and be
retain
like,
money on that contract.
are you okay, San Jose? It's okay. You don't need to give people money. It's okay. Like,
But
just just breathe.
but yeah,
Great deal from the Devils.
Devils get
Great,
Tyler
great
Toffoli,
summer they're
who's got
having.
1 year left on his current deal, where he's got a $4.25 million cap hit. Not even, I'm sorry, 4.125. So it's just a great job by Tom Fitzgerald. You replace Tomas Tatar with Tyler Toffoli
Who's a better player? Just a better
for
player.
at less money than you were paying Tomas Tatar. I can't
For assets that you were going to lose.
forget assets you were going to lose. That 30th overall pick that they sent, or 30th overall, the 80th overall pick that they sent to Calgary. That was the pick they got for Damon Severson, a player who they were absolutely going to lose in free agency for nothing. That's a free draft pick that they got that they packaged with a guy who they were likely not going to bring back,
Yeah,
and they
Sharon
turned
Govich
that
isn't
into
coming
Tyler
back.
Toffoli. I I
That's a
can't
fleece like that.
I can't say enough
And
good
this
things
is
about this trade from the
this is
Devils'
Tom
perspective.
Fitzgerald taking advantage of a Calgary front office that is looking at the roster and going, "Oh shit, no one wants to be here. Everyone wants traded, and
Everyone wants to
everyone
be
knows that."
traded, and that brings me
We're
back
talking a
to
Noah Hannafin deal, right? I heard that.
yeah,
Noah Hannafin to Pittsburgh,
everyone's
apparently.
on the market. I forget who. Noah Hannafin.
Michael
God,
Backlund.
Michael Backlund. Lindholm. Right.
Yeah, I think I've heard that.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot. None of these guys are likely to come back when their current deals expire with Calgary, and that's the sad thing here. Because Tyler Toffoli, before Brad Treleving was left the organization, he had made it clear that he wanted to stay in Calgary. That was that a month ago. He made it clear that he
Yeah,
wanted to stay
that's
in
just good
Calgary.
things about Brad Treliving.
It
They
does,
must have really liked that guy. Everything that I've heard about Brad Treliving is he's one of the nicest people. Like, the people want to play for him.
which is a great quality to have in a general manager, I must say. When so
Yeah,
good for
especially with some
Brad
other ones out
there,
there.
but that conversation that he had with Brad apparently went out the door with Brad. Uh, he
Yep.
still wanted to stay after that, but then it became clear that he wasn't going to come back, so he requested a trade. A few days later, Tom Fitzgerald calls and just takes
It's
advantage,
done.
man.
It didn't. I that trade did not take much negotiating.
No.
This is what we're giving you for Tyler Toffoli. Good luck. Give us a call back. That's how that happened.
And Tom Fitzgerald reportedly is not done at the draft because, of course, he was interviewed, even though he wasn't. He didn't. He was interviewed the night of the first round, even though he wasn't, involved in anything because he wasn't. Devils don't have a first round pick. It went to the San Jose Sharks, who Quentin Musty, great name. Actually,
Not the best name.
great name, fantastic name. Shut up, it's awesome.
No, there's one better name. There's one better name. Calgary got him. Yegor Yegorov. That's just a great name.
Yeah, you know what? That is a sec. You got me there.
Yegor
I'll concede that
Yegorov.
point. I'll concede
Or
that point.
Oliver Bonk, close second.
I like that.
Yeah, we love
But
the Bonks.
Tom Fitzgerald during an interview, he's always looking to improve the team. So could there be more deals on the horizon? Possibly.
Connor Bedard to a Devil?
No. One thing to keep an eye on though, the Predators are making a ton of assets available. A ton.
They're having a
And
little garage sale down there. And you're in Nashville. You're already there.
there's
You
a
don't even need to
guy
make the phone call.
there's a
Just talk
guy
to him.
tending net for Nashville who's reportedly been made available. But he's not quite in Nashville yet. He actually played his first year in the AHL just this past season. Is it Yaroslav Askarov? I
I
know
don't
his name
think
start.
so.
I know his
No,
name starts with a
apparently
Y.
they're not moving Askarov, from what
They
I've heard.
aren't. It is Yaroslav Askarov.
Apparently, they want to move Saros. They want to trade
That
Saros.
was the rumor, but Askarov was talking about possibly moving Askarov. Nashville was possibly talking about moving Askarov, yes.
Barry Trotz, their real GM. Let's be real here. David Poile is a figurehead right now.
Well, and
the Nashville Predators, the only team in NHL history to have 2 general managers.
And you know what? While we're praising Tom Fitzgerald, all around great man. He made the final trade with David Poile of his career, so David Poile could make the final draft pick of his career. And what makes it all the more special, David Poile, for his final trade, made a trade with the player who was the first captain in Nashville Predators history, and Tom Fitzgerald, while the first coach in Nashville Predators history, Barry Trotz, was right there alongside him. So really a heartfelt
beautiful moment. David Poile is going to the Hall of Fame. Anyone 100%. Who tells you he isn't is just wrong. I don't care that he didn't win a cup. He quite simply built hockey in a city it doesn't belong in. Look at
anyone who says otherwise, I point to the draft this weekend. I even point to the award show this past weekend, which was a train wreck in its own right. But David Poile left his mark in a city that, quite frankly, hockey was a foreign idea, and he made it a hockey town.
Don't look at the awards. Look at the 2017 final. Hockey deserves to be in Nashville.
Nashville's a hockey town. Nashville is a hockey town.
Good for them.
But with that in mind, do we want to jump right into the NHL awards?
Yeah, and how much of a joke they were? I couldn't even sit through the whole thing. Zach, the NHL is the most out-of-touch organization I've ever seen in my life. And so you're trying to introduce...
Second most.
We're back. We're going to do this again?
Second most.
We're going to do this again?
Second
Behind
most.
the A7FL. Behind the A7FL.
Please continue your point.
Yes. You're trying to introduce... I feel like the awards show, the draft... and the All-Star game, slightly different in that situation, is kind of a showcase of that market. Nashville is a great market to showcase. You've been to Nashville, correct, Zach?
No. I was supposed to go, but I couldn't go this past winter.
Okay, everyone I know that's been to Nashville loves the city. One of the best cities in America to go party and have a good time in. It's great.
It is the it's the bachelorette party capital of the world.
They have bars on bicycles. That's crazy, man. Like that's legal. What a great city. But so we're gonna showcase it by showing country music artists. And Zach, I know you don't like country, but there are some wonderful country music artists out there that are creating great music. But the NHL decided we're gonna get country music artists on an NHL budget. It is people I never heard of, and it was a rough watch, and for some reason they just kept having kids come up and talk.
No. It wasn't just kids. It was the son of the host of the NHL Awards show, who was also a country musician.
Okay.
The son's name was Knox.
I think it's time that we.
Don't ask me.
Knoxville. Knoxville.
Don't ask me who hosted the. Don't ask me who hosted the.
Something
NHL
Bentley, right? I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sure.
Do you know what we need to talk about, though?
Sure.
There's one man that needs to be taken away from the National Hockey League as quickly as possible.
Is it Tom Fitzgerald because he's taking candy from too many babies?
No, worse. Who was the most annoying person you've heard on television recently? Paul Bissonnette needs to be shot out of a cannon. I get why they have them. I do. But for some reason, they have a former NHL player that is out of touch with hockey fans. He's just not what we want to listen to. Like, he's probably great for, like, TikTok clips. But to have to listen to him for a full broadcast is painful.
No, it's... I don't know what it is. They
Why
have
does
him
the
do.
NHL act like we have 3 personalities?
They have him doing too much. They have. I'm trying to be fair to Paul Bissonnette here. They're they're having him do more than he should. He should be the guy that you go to for the occasional comedic relief. You can't rely on him for his
For
for that.
analysis. It's just not. He scored like 6 goals.
He should.
Stop like trying to make him this hockey expert. Like, I can't stand Paul Bissonnette. And do you remember what he did that he probably should have been fired for a few years ago with the Leafs? I'm sorry, I would have kicked him out of the studio immediately. Do you remember?
No. I can't say
So
that I do.
Austin was playing in Arizona. The Leafs were visiting the Coyotes, and they did that kind of the player wearing a headset during warm-ups while he's skating around. He's talking. And for those of you who are unaware, Austin Matthews has Mexican heritage. His mother's Mexican. He's very proud of his heritage. And Paul Bissonnette asked him what he's most excited for being back home, because he's from not far from Arizona, not far from the arena.
He grew up in Arizona.
And he
He's
said,
an
well,
Arizona product.
Yeah, he's proud of being from Arizona. He said he's really excited to be around his parents and have some of his mom's cooking. You know, Mexican food. We all love Mexican food. Paul Bissonnette said, oh, so you're eating Mexican food? You're having trouble staying out of the bathroom right now? And I'm sorry. I would have taken him out of the studio for that, because Austin Matthews just went nope and ended the interview.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
incredibly look, yeah. That's
racially
not a good
insensitive look. is the way to what to call.
Yeah,
that.
those are the words I'm looking for. 100%. 100%.
He's Paul Bissonnette's a Barstool guy, and he's really good at being Barstool. But Barstool is not. We don't want on ESPN.
Let me put it like this: there's only one worse guy I could think of in Paul Bissonnette's chair than Paul Bissonnette right now, and that person is Ryan Whitney, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind.
Ryan Whitney's just Paul Bissonnette, but like throw in more alcohol. Like if you get enough drinks at Paul, you get Ryan Whitney.
And Ryan Whitney is somehow smarter than Paul Bissonnette, so he thinks he can talk more, but he's not much. Well, yeah, well, I'm cutting that part anyway, so it doesn't matter. No, Paul Bissonnette is being overexerted in the role. He should be the fourth microphone at best. He should be your Charles Barkley in that equation.
The guy you like. Here's this clip we made beforehand that's pre-taped of just him doing stuff. That'd be great for Paul. Small dose, planned out. Good for Paul.
Paul Bissonnette is also. We're giving him a ton of flack right now. I will credit Paul Bissonnette and Spit and Chicklets for this and this alone, in the sense that they get the best interviews in the NHL. They get the best interviews out of players because they have that experience in the locker room. That it is what it is. It
feels like a locker room to them. They feel very comfortable.
Watching him try and recreate some of that type of atmosphere for interviews during the NHL award show was painful. Watching him try and make a joke with the hot tub thing was painful. The fact that Connor McDavid had to include in his thank you speech for winning MVP of the National Hockey League to end whatever joke was going on is absurd. I know we're trying to insert personality into the league that doesn't really show off much personality, but this is not the way to do it. This just makes you look like a tool.
Jack Hughes has a personality. I think we're finally getting
Jack Hughes should have been... They should have interviewed Jack Hughes for longer than they did. But Jack Hughes has a fantastic personality.
Big personalities. If you get Austin and Mitch comfortable, they're big personalities. If you have to get them comfortable first. PK Subban, retired player, would be great to host stuff. Because I think it's more natural and better for television.
Why was PK Subban not in that chair? Why?
Isn't that literally what ESPN's paying him to do?
No.
Like, isn't...
It's
PK's places or whatever it is.
It's so weird. I don't even remember which broadcast PK's a part of anymore. If he's a part of the ESPN broadcast or the TNT broadcast, I think he's ESPN and Bissonnette's TNT. And wasn't the NHL award show on TNT?
No, it's ESPN. But they also had Elliot Friedman. The broadcast felt very like discombobulated. It felt very everywhere.
It did, and look. When are we
You know what
going
the
to
worst part?
stop trying to put Connor McDavid in the spotlight that he just doesn't want to be in?
Look,
When are
we
we?
learned this lesson with Crosby, is that some guys just don't try. Yes, they're the best player in the league. Don't try to make them a personality. It's
No,
not them.
Connor. No, 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 no. This is worse than that. Connor McDavid makes Sidney Crosby look.
Like PK.
Yeah, like this dude is clearly uncomfortable in the spotlight. This dude is clearly uncomfortable doing these scripted interviews. And you know what? I understand that you had it's Dirk Bentley, his kid Knox Bentley. I understand, like it'll be really cute to include the kid. McDavid looked McDavid looked more uncomfortable up there than Knox did at any point in time. Knox did a
Yes.
fantastic job. This
McDavid
is
is not a media guy.
no,
He's awful.
no.
Far from
He's
it. There are
never.
guys who are born for that. He's far from it.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I would have paid to have Matt Kachuk just host it. That would have been great. Matt Kachuk would have been great. Have Hughes come up there. Have PK come up there. The NHL has a plethora of guys. Trevor Zegras would have been fantastic to
You
get on
can't
stage
have
with
an
this
active
year.
player host the NHL awards, in my opinion. You can't do that. You would have to
Screw it.
be.
Do something.
It
There's
would
not
have
enough
to.
players that are interesting. It has to be PK until someone else retires.
I agree. It should have been PK Subban hosting the awards. It should have been PK Subban. If you have PK Subban hosting the awards, it goes off much better.
Yeah. And while we're
But
on this, can I just say that Wayne Gretzky shouldn't be on television either? God, he's bad. He's so bad.
he's not great.
He looks uncomfortable. He managed to sound like he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, I feel like he's trying to dumb everything down too much.
I just,
And it just sounds like he's just there just to say things.
I mean,
Oh my
ultimately,
God, Wayne Gretzky said he's good. Like, that's
that's
what it
why
is.
he's there. That's why he's there.
It's annoying. It's annoying.
So can we just say that
The
ESPN
actual.
rushed into this deal without really knowing what they were doing and how to market to current NHL
I'm
fans?
I'm keeping my hopes up that it's going to get better. I think
You
it
can
will.
hope all you want, but
There's some growing pains, man. This is rough.
we're very short. I mean, I'm still waiting
I
to
miss
see
Doc
that Barry
Emmerich.
Melrose is returning to the booth. And when that
It,
happens, I'm not tuning into the game.
were any of the actual it's bad. We've been talking about the NHL awards for like 10 minutes now. Have we mentioned a single award?
No, and we shouldn't because
It doesn't
the
matter.
NHL did every single New Jersey Devil dirty,
No,
including
Zach,
Nico
let me get my
Hischier.
point across. Okay, yeah. Bergeron should have been third in Selke
No,
voting.
Bergeron was going to get that award no matter what. Bergeron was getting that
Oh, no,
award.
because his award. It's his award. They're just gonna give it to him forever until he
I mean,
retires.
he's only got the
Mitch
most in
Marner
NHL
deserved that
history.
award more than
No, he didn't.
Bergeron. I think Mitch
No, he didn't.
Marner. Oh, you didn't watch much of Marner. He sure deserved it more
No,
than
I'm
Marner
just
though.
I'm just saying that Bergeron deserved it because he's Bergeron. This is
Stop!
Bergeron's
You sound
award.
like the NHL.
They're gonna
Stop!
turn
Stop!
they're renaming the Selkie the Patrice J. Bergeron Award. What's his middle
They
name?
might.
What's his middle name? I just made up the
Doesn't
J
matter.
because I know it's Frank
It's
J.
the
Selkie.
Patrice Award. I just the one award that the Devils did not get snubbed on, Zach, and
It's
I
the
will die on
Selkie.
this hill. Jim Nill deserved GM of the year.
Well,
He did. There's no argument.
I'm not going to disagree with you there. Where I will disagree with you is that Tom Fitzgerald should have been a finalist.
Was he not?
He was not.
Okay, he should have been a finalist.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The
Should have been
finalists
a finalist.
were I think
Nill,
Seattle's GM, Dallas, and
Boston.
Boston. Yeah. So
But Jim Nill, what he's done in Dallas. Jim Nill has deserved an award for his 2017 draft class since then, and he's finally getting it. Where he picked Heiskin in third, Ottinger 24th, and then Robertson 40th.
41st.
He 41st. Thank you. He that's his. Here you go. Look at that. Look how it's panned out for you now. And the fact that now they have Wyatt Johnston, they have Ty Dellandrea, Logan Stankoven, who's going to be scored like 97 points in 48 games this year for Kamloops. Jim No's been fantastic, and he's done all of this with having to negotiate the boat anchors of Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. He deserved that award. Jim No's a fantastic GM, and he's the only GM that I've actually talked to. He's very pleasant, very nice guy. We love Jim No. Did you know he's been with Dallas for 10 years now?
I did not, actually. I was focused on the fact that we've been going for an hour and we haven't touched the draft.
Yes.
I want to cry, Trevor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
No, it's not.
But, there's not that much to talk about the draft. It's the draft. I don't like the draft. No one. Okay, you can leave this part in the episode. Does anyone actually like the draft?
I'm taking this out.
I hate the draft. I hope you know that. I absolutely despise the draft.
Okay. That's good.
Why am I an asshole?
I don't know. I'll think of a reason.
Okay. So, Zach, let's talk about the 2023 NHL entry draft.
Sure.
I put this question in, Zach. Going into this draft, is this the greatest draft class in recent memory?
In what context?
The amount of potential franchise players.
No.
How many players in this draft go first in other drafts? In a standard year. Fantilli probably does.
I'm going to go with
Carlson.
I'm going to go with 3 or 4. The fringe being Carlson, honestly.
Mishkov, I think makes the
Mishkov, in any normal setting, Mishkov is a clear-cut number 1 overall pick. Mishkov was slated.
Oh my god, could you imagine if he was Canadian? If Mishkov was Canadian, the world would be losing their shit right now. Could you imagine if he played for the Ottawa 67s? Oh my god. If he played in the O?
Forget any of that. Imagine he didn't have a 3-year deal with SKA St. Petersburg over his head.
He might be the weirdest draft pick I've ever seen.
No. Well, one of them.
He's up there, man. He's up there.
This situation, the only thing that's even close is Evgeny Malkin and what happened with him in terms of his contract and how it took him, 2 years Super League. Because, yeah. But let's just to start it off. The first overall pick, we talked about it before. Connor Bedard to the Chicago Blackhawks, surprising no one. We talked ad nauseum about Connor Bedard first, so we'll move on to the second pick, where the Anaheim Ducks pulled a bit of a stunner on everyone, taking Leo Carlsson ahead of Adam Fantilli, and on every board I saw, it was Fantilli, then Carlsson. Now,
is it a bad pick?
No, it's not a bad pick. So? That's the thing. It's not a bad. Anaheim couldn't mess this up, and there are a lot of people out there saying, "Oh no, it's the
Ducks. They could have screwed this up."
They could have screwed this up. You're right. They could have screwed this up pretty easily. But quite frankly, while maybe the Ducks will look over their shoulder and think, "Oh, maybe we should have taken Fantilli," Leo Carlsson's a stud.
Isn't that far behind Fantilli?
He's not that far behind. He's not that far behind Fantilli in terms of skill. He's not. Fantilli is he has better size. It is what it is. So
doesn't Fantilli have a really small sample size though? Wasn't he a freshman at Michigan?
He was,
and that was the kind of question mark around him.
He was a freshman at Michigan, and even then, I think he was limited by injury, but it works out for him. Shortly before the NHL draft, NHL, they were asking him, "Oh, where do you want to end up?" And he said he would love to end up in Columbus. He thought it would be a fantastic situation for him. And the one thing
Fantilli said that.
Fantilli said that. The one thing that he said right after that, there are a ton of University of Michigan alumni throughout the Columbus Blue Jacket organization. And that's something
weird to me.
It's weird because Columbus is an Ohio State town, and the organization.
That's where Ohio State is.
Exactly. And there is just a ton of Michigan Wolverines there. Kent Johnson, 5th overall pick in 2021. He's on Columbus. The Columbus's second round pick is also a guy who's going to be going to Michigan this coming season. So there's something there.
He
They
probably
clearly
feels very comfortable there, which is important when you have a player that young to make him feel as comfortable and welcome as possible.
Say what you want about the current education system, whatever, what have you. There are certain things that you do, and there are certain communities that absolutely are known to look out for each other. The University of Michigan community definitely looks out for their own, and I'm sure there's a huge level of comfort for him to not only be around those Michigan alumni, but to also be not very far from home. So,
do you know what it takes? Do you know how much of a good person you have to be for Columbus, Ohio, to like someone from the University of Michigan? And they like him already. They're happy with Fantilli.
He wanted to be there. How could you not love that?
That takes so much for him to want to be there. That is shocking that he does.
It is shocking.
Because it is woven into his blood to hate the city of Columbus.
Yes. But
we're talking Pittsburgh,
he loves
Philly
it,
kind of rivalry.
And it's a win-win. The player's happy, and I know Columbus is happy. And you know who else is happy? Anaheim. Because if they didn't love Leo Carlsson, if they didn't think that he was their guy, they would not have taken him. And let's be clear, Leo Carlsson out of Arebro and the SHL, that is a fantastic pick, and he is going to be a fantastic NHL player for years and years to come.
Easily. Yeah, every single player in those top three are going to be the face of their franchise. I can call it now.
Yep. And there are four franchise players here, and somehow, some way, you could argue that the second best player in this draft slipped to number 7. And Matt.
And, I thought he was going to fall. I thought that he was going to go. Montreal had a chance of taking him, because San Jose really liked Will Smith. That was their guy. They were going to take him. So Montreal kind of was in the hunt.
Bel-Air.
Oh, and they made him rap. That was so painful.
Wait, they did what?
They made him rap after he got drafted. In his interview, they made him do the Fresh Prince rap. I'm dead serious. It was bad.
Okay.
So you get Montreal, who I thought was going to take Matvei Michkov. And then you get Arizona with pick 6, who I really, really thought was the perfect team to take Michkov. Because guess who doesn't need players for several years? They don't.
You're lying to yourself if you think that, but okay.
No, the Arizona Coyotes are not an NHL team. They do not need players right now. They need an arena.
Matvei Michkov was a fit for Arizona in the sole purpose of they can wait the 3 years for him to come over. That's all. That's the only way he's a fit.
And he's the best player available.
Yes.
Take him.
Well,
why?
I'm not going to argue whether or not they should have taken Michkov, because that's a bag of ish. That is your own decision. I will question why they took Dmitry Simashev before him. I will request that, or question that.
They just got another Russian guy on a contract.
They got a Russian guy,
with contract. Just take the better one.
Well, they got a Russian guy, but he's slated to come over to the U.S. sooner, and he also plays defense. In their defense, looking at his tape, I'm not sure you can find me another 6'4" defenseman that can move like that. That kid can move, and skating ability is something. Arizona also did this interesting thing where a lot of the prospects they drafted this year were from Russia. So they obviously have some confidence in their scouts around there. So it is what it is there. It is shocking.
They don't have any. There's a chance they don't have any. You're putting a lot of faith in the Arizona Coyotes.
No, Trevor, realistically, you don't draft that many prospects from one place if you don't have confidence.
Do they have one dude in Russia? That's the max they have. They have one dude who watches every cage.
You know what? And it's entirely possible that they have one, maybe 2 dudes there, but they clearly have confidence.
Both paid minimum wage.
Well, yeah, that's this industry. It is what it is. You and I both know that. But they thought this was the right move, and this was the move they were going to make. A lot of people also thought maybe Montreal at number 5 was a good spot for him, but
Because
I don't know.
European players, I'm going to lump Russians into that, tend to do well in Montreal. From
Yeah,
like, it's just
Montreal's a
kind of a
very
weird fit.
international city, so to speak. Where I don't think it's necessarily a good fit is you drafted Slavkovsky last year, and yes, Mishkov is slated to be a better prospect than Slavkovsky, but if you're going by need, which at this point they were, it makes sense to pick David Reinbacher. What doesn't make sense is why did you put Corey Price in that position? Allegedly
Care.
on purpose, but he just forgot his name. That was Kent Hughes was joking. Don't take him seriously. Kent Hughes was joking.
Ken Hughes was doing damage control,
Yeah, he had to,
and he
but
did a good job. He did
he
a good
did.
job.
But
Um,
poor David Reinbacher, because yeah,
Mishkov is going to be a perfect flyer, though.
I hate to say it, but probably.
Yeah. All of the
And
comparisons that they gave at the draft scared me. They're like, oh, he's a mix of Evgeny Malkin and Kirill Kaprizov with Nikita Kucherov sprinkled in. I'm like, oh, those are three good players. Oh,
you
those are
said
three good players that Devils, Penguins are
You
going to have
said,
to think
wait,
about
I'm
a
sorry.
long
You
time.
said that it was Evgeny Malkin with Alex Ovechkin and Nikita Kucherov.
No, Kaprizov.
Oh, Kaprizov.
Kaprizov and
Oh,
Malkin
well.
with a little Kucherov sprinkled in.
Oh, okay. Well, two of those three guys have previously won MVP. So those are
Mhm.
good. Those are good people to have in the same breath, I guess, in your comparison.
And Kaprizov is not that far behind, man. That's a
No,
superstar.
no, he's a superstar for sure. A
Uh,
bona
if
fide
if
top 10 superstar.
you want to know exactly why the Flyers took the risk, and they did this whole thing that I truly believe that Mishkov wanted to be a Flyer. That for some reason that relationship makes sense to me. They took him. The main reason is so he doesn't go to Washington, because you know
Yeah,
damn well they're taking Mishkov.
I think
They are
that's where he
not letting
wanted to
him
go,
fall.
and there was no way he was getting past the Capitals. Um,
If they
I
drafted anyone else, Alex Ovechkin is bitch slapping everybody in that office.
Yeah, 100%. But if you're Philly in that spot, if you what do you have to lose by taking Mishkov? What do you at the number 7
They're in a
spot?
good position to wait. They're in a great
It's
position to wait.
what the Flyers made the right decision here just for the sole purpose of if this works out, you have a guy who could be the second best, if not the best talent in this draft. Or if it doesn't work out, you took a swing on a guy, and quite frankly, it would have been insane to not take a swing at that level of talent if you could. The Flyers
What
have time to
is
wait. They're
he?
just starting their
Is he
rebuild.
that much worse than Bedard?
No, he's really
I
not.
don't think the gap's that big.
Just
Bedard's the better
to
player, yes, but the gap's not big.
for going back to 2020, 2021, Matvey Mishkov was the guy that people were talking about as the number one overall pick until Bedard kind of made himself known over the past couple of years. It was the Matvey Mishkov draft. That's what it was.
Yeah.
This was the guy that people were saying in Russia, no, he's going to be the real deal. And he's probably going to be the real deal, but it will remain to be seen if he is able to come
And
be that real deal over in America.
yeah, barring global politics, he probably goes second.
If this is
Potentially
an
first.
if if this draft class happens in, call it 2017, 2018, he goes second without a shadow of a doubt. Without a
No.
shadow of a doubt.
But and there's nothing wrong with saying that taking Russian players right now is just a massive risk. Because there's a good chance you just don't get that player. You wasted a pick. Well, the player like Mishkov, I really think that's worth the risk, man. Like you have a franchise player in him. Those comparisons are fantastic to have. He's got a lethal shot. He's Russian Bedard, man. Like, and Russian players are crazy. Like they will run through walls for you.
My favorite moment right after Mishkov gets drafted by the Flyers, he's going through the interview and he's got his translator. And what was the exact quote the translator put out? I put it in hockey chat. Hold on. Hold
Oh, I'm excited to hear
on.
this because I think I missed it. I was working while listening to the draft, so I was kind of zoning in and out. Because the draft
Okay.
is boring.
Here we go. Oh, I have no words or emotion for the moment when asked what it was like to be what it felt like to be drafted by the Flyers. I have no words
That
or
man's a
emotion
flyer.
for the moment.
That's a man's a flyer.
That
He's a
that's
perfect flyer.
Yeah, he's dead on
He
the
is
inside
Broad
already.
Street
He's the
bully.
perfect he's ready for Philly. He's dead on the inside. It's beautiful.
You can't have emotions in playing Philadelphia. They'll eat you
You
alive.
you can't have emotions and play in Russia. They
No,
just
perfect.
it's just not compatible.
Philadelphia is just American Russia.
Okay, we're done here. We're done here. We're done here. We're done here. That's it. That's it. No more. No more. Okay. Yeah, Matvei Mishkov has a ton of potential, and it's insane that he slipped that far. Trevor, you've mentioned noted lover of the NHL draft, Trevor Neal. Were there any other picks that you were a big fan of?
Oliver Bonk. Just great name.
Great name. Trevor's going.
My thing with the
Trevor's going
draft
with
is like after like pick 15 to me, it's very much just like throwing darts at a board, man. Like I don't like when people try to be like, oh my god, this guy went 150th. Here's some in-depth analysis. You have no idea what you're talking about.
no,
Sorry, you don't.
no.
Like,
There are a few
look, we're
players.
talking about the league. That the Leafs legitimately drafted Mitch Marner because they had questions about his size because they went to his house and said his mom was 6 feet tall, so they had to draft him. This is the same league. Okay, this league's a
That's
joke.
not real. But the
No,
words
that's a
that
real
you just
story.
said in the order that you just said them is a lie that you made up.
Zach, I
There's
swear
no
to
way
God,
that's
that
real.
came out of the Leafs. That came out of the Leafs organization. That happened. Bonnie Marner is 6 feet tall, and the Leafs decided to draft Mitch because his mom is 6 feet tall. That is a true story.
And how tall is Mitch Marner?
5, 10, or 11.
Okay, so that I'm.
But he was 5, 10, or 11 then. They just went, oh yeah, his mom's a unit. Gotta draft him. He's gonna be big and strong like his mom. Like,
Imagine it comes out years later that the Dallas Mavericks only drafted Luka Doncic because his mom was hot.
no, the NBA is a real league, so they have actual scouting.
Okay.
But like, apparently during the draft, I came home because I had to like drive home in the middle of the first round, so I didn't listen. My dad's like, "Yeah, they said they drafted a player who couldn't skate." And then he said, well, his dad played in the NHL, and his dad couldn't skate either. And my dad's like, why did they draft him? And I'm like, this is the NHL, buddy. This is what we do. If you're the son of an NHL player, you could be below average and get drafted.
Oh, that came up. I don't remember if it was today or last night, but while I was watching the draft, someone said that it's always great to see when guys have that family pedigree. It's just comforting, like I know that the family it's in the bloodline. They can make it work or something to that effect. And I'm just thinking like, oh my god,
the NHL's
nepotism.
like their thinking is so Stone Age, which is big, strong, brute. Gotta draft them. There's still teams that do that.
There are teams that
the Leafs. The Leafs did that for a while. Of who's the biggest guy left on the board?
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
The Leafs went through days.
Yeah,
yeah. It's pathetic. That's why Frederick Gauthier went in the first round because he's like 6'6". He couldn't skate.
He was 6'6", and wasn't he supposed to be pretty good at the faceoffs?
I don't know. He never really played center.
Excellent.
The NHL is so bad at being the NHL.
Oh god. Okay. Yeah.
But remember, the important thing we learned today was Mitchell Marner's mother is an absolute unit. Bonnie.
The St. Louis Blues got a real steal at number 25 in Otto Stenberg. For whatever reason, I did end up doing a little bit of research because I was curious about Leo Carlsson, and so the Leo Carlsson rabbit hole led me down to look at some of the other prospects in the SHL. And Frölunda had a few players that broke into the SHL and played for the men's league.
Frölunda is just the Swedish team, by the way. They are the one Swedish team.
They're
every single time I hear Swedish player, it's Frölunda.
It's a historic program. They've got a lot of players that went through them. I believe Rasmus Dahlin came through their system, but I could be wrong on that.
I think so.
But they had Otto Stenberg, 25th overall to the Blues. He's a great player. Got very good sense, quick release. He just needs to work on his game away from the puck. They also out of the Frölunda system, Vegas took at the 32nd overall pick David Eklund, who in 11 games in the SHL managed to put up 4 points as a 17-year-old, which is not short of impressive. So very good prospect there. And then the other one I really liked, the guy I had my eye on because I thought maybe he'd slip to the Devils. He did slip to the Devils, but the Devils took someone else. Noah Dower Nilsson at 73 to the Detroit Red Wings. So it's not really a fun story, but there is a good story behind this. He's going to join his brother, who was drafted in 2021 by the Red Wings with a 5th round pick. And
I like brothers getting drafted together. I think that's a cool story every time.
This is a bit
Harvard
more
Jack Guy's
heartwarming.
brother's Canadian.
Both of those brothers, they went through a lot over the past few years. Their mother was diagnosed with cancer and unfortunately passed. They went through a lot to get to kind of stay where they are and get where they are today. For them to be able to kind of go over and play in the same system together, that does warm my heart a little bit. And
yeah,
Detroit's getting an absolute gamer with this guy. He didn't play maybe as well as he should have. This is a guy who might have, coming into the season, he was slated to be an earlier second-round pick, first-round pick. Didn't have as great of a season as he could have, but he's got a hell of a shot, and he's going to... that's a guy who I really think is going to step up, and if he doesn't line up at center, he's got a home at left wing for sure. He's going to produce in some capacity for the Wings. So,
Zach, your patience for looking into prospects, I commend, because draft season drives me nuts.
My the key to me doing that is insomnia. Yeah, you'd be amazed at what you click on when you really can't sleep at like 2-3 in the morning.
It's the Frölunda.
I'm fucking cutting that, and you know why. Anyway, Trevor, is there anything else you want to add before we cut this?
No, I think I'm good. It's been a fun time. You were right. Rasmus Dahlin did play for Frölunda. I did double check. Who are no longer the Indians. I did not know that.
Yeah, they
just Frölunda HC.
Yeah, they became the Frölunda Hockey Club a couple years ago.
2022.
Yeah, which makes sense. It, is what it is.
And they're cashing up with times.
Yeah, is what it is. But yeah. Frölunda HC in Gothenburg, Sweden. So, all right, cool. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. They kept the jerseys, which is all I care about because those jerseys are fantastic.
Oh, gorgeous.
Like it's the shoulder. I love the shoulders. I love the shoulders for them. But
we love Frölunda.
Anyway, so yeah. Next, we got free agency coming up in a couple days, so that should be fun. Hope you guys enjoy that. Until then. I'm Zach. That's Trevor. We are Wrinkles in the Crease. Give us a follow, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time.